Let's get started filling out the Profit Genie Wizard. In this first step, it's super simple. Just click in the space and fill out your business name and then click Continue. Step 2 asks how many field employees do you have? Just make sure when you fill out this section, you're only including the full-time employees that work on your crews generating income for your business. Do not include any managerial or office roles. They will be included in another section later on called overhead employees. But for now, make sure you're only including your full-time field or crew employees that generate income for your company. Step 3 asks how many part-time field employees you have. Just like in the last section, this is only employees that work in the field or on crews that generate income for your business. If you don't have any, just fill the space in with 0 and hit continue. Step 4 asks how many days per week do you work? This section is important because we use this number to fill out your project calendar. If you work 4 10s, put in 4 days per week. If you work 5 8s or 5 10s, put in 5 days per week. If you work an occasional Saturday or a 6th day, that's okay, but you still want to put in the typical number of days you work in a week. Do not put in half days in this section. For instance, in my company, we work 4 10s, and then on Fridays, we put in a 4-hour workday. In this situation, you would not put 4.5 days, you would still fill it in with 5. Step 5 asks how many hours you work in a typical day. We use this information not only to help fill out your calendar, but also to figure out how much you should be charging per hour, per day, and per crew. So it's important that you get this number accurate. If you work overtime, include that in the hours for this section. In most situations, it's very simple. If you work 4 10s, you would put in a 10-hour workday. If you work 5 8s, you would put in an 8-hour workday. In my company, we work 4 10s and a 4-hour workday on Fridays. In this situation, you would calculate the total hours, including overtime, which would be 44 hours for the week. Then divide that by the number of days you work in a week, which in my instance would be 5, giving us a total of 8.8 hours in a typical workday. You want to make sure you get this number as accurate and consistent as possible because remember, we're going to figure out your pricing based off of these numbers. Step 6 asks you to provide the start date and end date for your construction season. This section is really important, especially for seasonal companies, because we're going to help you make enough money during the months that you do work so you can pay your bills in the months that you don't work. From here on out, you should never have to worry about how you're going to make it through the off season again. You can also use this section to budget for a vacation during your season. If you want to take a 2-week vacation, just end your work season 2 weeks earlier than you typically do. This will ensure that you will be able to pay yourself and your overhead not only during your off season, but also for your vacation as well. For the companies that work all year long, be sure to include any time you take off for Christmas and the New Year in this section. For instance, if you make January 1st as your start date and you know you're going to take 2 or 3 weeks off for Christmas, then instead of ending December 31st, you would end 2 or 3 weeks before that. Just because you're not working doesn't mean you don't have bills to pay. And our software will make sure you're making enough money during the months that you work so you can pay the bills during the months that you don't. Step 7 asks how many holidays you will take off. In my company, we take 3 holidays off: Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day. Memorial Day and Labor Day are easy because they always fall on a Monday, but the 4th of July falls on a different day of the week each year. You're going to want to check your calendar to see which day it falls on and adjust your days accordingly. If it falls on a Monday or a Friday, it's simple, but if it falls on, let's say, a Thursday, you might want to take Thursday and Friday off. In that situation, you would include 2 days for the 4th of July instead of 1. And that's it for the Profit Genie Wizard. In the next section, we will show you how to set up all of your equipment.